G'day Oldhammers, it's Brett from Solo Oldhammer Gaming, and I'm trying out my new microphone stand that my sister got me with some lighting on it and that, so I just wanted to give her a quick shout out. And I also wanted to do a quick shout out too to Josh from the Crown of Command. I did an interview with him today, just about the channel and some basic chit chat about Citadel miniatures and Oldhammer games, and yeah, our love of them. So that was really, really cool. And I just want to say to Josh, thanks for everything that you do for the community, mate. Doing really, really well. But I just wanted to I've been painting so many orcs lately that I thought it was about time that I did a armor review on the orcs from Warhammer Fantasy Battle 3rd Edition. So I'm in one of my copies of Warhammer Armies. I have 4. Because you never know, like 4 people might turn up and want to play, so everyone needs a copy of the book. So we start off on page 88 of the Warhammer Armies 3rd edition army lists, and that's the start of the Orcs and Goblins portion of the army list. And straight away it just goes off and gives you a little bit of detail about orcs and goblins, and also half-orcs. I don't think they were actually seen in 4th and 5th edition. Definitely not 6th or 7th or 8th, but yeah, half-orcs are actually in 3rd edition, so it's just a little bit something extra, because they actually they were actually grouped up in a 20 by 20 basis. I think they were called scabbies. The rest of the orcs called them scabbies. So I'm pretty sure too, actually, that this was the first appearance of black orcs and savage orcs, because they were listed in the bestiary for Warhammer Armies earlier on in the book. So, but it just goes into a little bit of detail about orc armies, include a few goblin lackeys. Yeah, because there's jobs that orcs don't fancy doing much, so may as well get someone smaller than you to do it. Goblinoid armies are generally led by orcs or half-orcs, who are the biggest and cleverest of their kin. The rank and file of the army consists of a mixture of orcs, goblins, half-orcs, and even Snotlings. Good old Snotlings still there with their Snotling pump wagon. Because of this wide variety of races, an army of this type will have many troop types, from weakly armed Snotlings to deadly orc ball riders, and then of course captured battle engines are often good to use, while the swift and dangerous goblin chariots can mow down the enemy like so much grass. I'm pretty happy that I've actually got a goblin chariot now. I want to get the other ones as well. So yeah, this orc army is actually building up, but yeah, I'll try to make it a quicker video instead of an hour epic. So we go straight into goblin stats. Like always, they are broken up into basic goblin troops, 2.5 points. Leadership not so good. Weapon skill pretty paltry, to be quite honest. They're fighting it out the same as the Skelly. So but the ballistic skills average, it's humanish. So I think somebody once said that quantity has a quality all of its own. So 1,000 goblins with bows, that's a lot of saving throws when you get too close to them. But you shouldn't have too much problems if you can actually charge them and get them into hand-to-hand combat with their 5 leadership. 5 leadership's not very good. Even the intelligence, the cool, the willpower, like fear tests are pretty bad. Magic saves and everything the same. Then they break down the wizards and the heroes. Like for a level 25 hero, you're paying 65 points, but you're only you're only getting like weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4. 5 wounds though. No, 4 wounds. 4 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 plus 3 for leadership. That's not too bad, above average. Intelligence 7 plus 2, so your other troops will be getting that plus 2 bonus to bring them up to a 7. Same for the cool and same for the willpower, and that's 65 points. Now that's a naked gobbo, but still that's not too bad. The strength with the goblins comes in their wizards. So for a level 25 wizard, you're paying 275 points for him. The same again, you've got 5 weapon skill, 5 ballistic skill, 4 toughness, 4 strength, 4 wounds, 5 initiative, 1 attack, 8 plus 3. But the intelligence and the cool and the willpower, for as you'd expect it to be a little bit higher than an actual fighter, will give you a plus 3 instead of plus 2. So bring your troops up a little bit more. And for 275 points, that's not a bad deal. Gives them a bit more staying power, and but that's a level 25. But you don't have to take those. Of course there's limits and stuff that you can take and you can't take. But so not too bad, and that tells you there as well that they're based on the 20 by 20s, glorious 20 by 20s. And Wolf Riders are on 25 by 50s, like all cavalry. Then you've got the half-orcs, which are pretty interesting, actually. They're basically human. I think the intelligence is actually a little bit down. Pretty sure humans normally have 7 intelligence, but they come with 6. And then, 7 cool, 7 willpower. 5 points. 5 points for a half-orc or a scabby. They're actually in the starting scenario for Warhammer Fantasy Battle 3rd Edition in the back of the book there. That was pretty sure it was a half-orc that was leading the elves into the trap. Ballad of Pharaon, I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think that was it. It's got their leaders and that listed. Interestingly enough, they're mounted on 20 by 20s as well, like a human. So, yeah, being half orcs, because orcs are mounted on 25 by 25s. Because they're a bit better, bigger, a lot more stockier. They've got 4 toughness. They're 5.5 points. Intelligence only 5 though. So, yeah, magic things and stuff like that. The wizards are not too bad, a bit pricey, but for your stock standard orc and half orc troop and goblin, yeah, pretty decently priced. Now we go to the next page 89. So on to page 89, and we see the appearance of the Savage Orc. He's on a 25 by 25, like other orcs as well. See different things and qualities of them through the army list. They're rated at 4.5 points. Their initiative is down on a normal orc, but their toughness their initiative is the same as a normal orc. Toughness is the same as a normal orc as well, but they're 5.5 points. That extra half a point comes with Frenzy. So Frenzy's not a bad skill in 3rd edition. Looking good. Just like those shield and banner designs that are on these pages as well. With the artwork, you just can't beat that. But yeah, Savage Orcs are on 25 by 25, so there's a limit to how many of them you can take. They can be mounted on boars and giant wolves as well. The wizards are the same price as like your normal orc. Same with the actual actual heroes are a little bit down um, on price. Like for your higher level ones, like level 25 hero for a Savage Orc is 143 points, where a normal, well, they're the same. It's the half orcs that the level 25 hero, he's more expensive, but the normal orcs are the same as savage orcs. Just that 5.5 points each for those, and yeah, they come with frenzy, so that's not a bad deal. Might be a little bit harder to control on the battlefield, but there you go. Now, Black Orcs now come into it. These guys are tipping out at 7 because they're well hard. They're weapon skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, same initiative, better leadership. Intelligence is the same as a normal orc and a savage orc. Cool, willpower, that's all the same. But yeah, 7 leadership. Black orcs only suffer animosity towards other orcs. Other orcs will only suffer animosity towards black orcs if they outnumber them 2 to 1 because they're scared of them. Same for like other goblinoids, so like goblins, half orcs, savage orcs. They will only suffer animosity towards black orcs if they outnumber them 2 to 1. Yeah, just to reflect that they're well hard and they don't take much mucking around. They won't allow another race of orc to like lead them into battle, but I'm pretty sure black orcs can actually lead another race of orcs into battle. I'll just grab another copy just to double check. That was the library making that huge bang as I picked up the one of the other 4 copies. Might be a bit excessive, 4 copies, but yeah, you never know. 4 people might turn up and everyone needs a copy of the book. Yeah, so they do suffer animosity towards other black orcs unless they outnumber, like other goblinoids, 2 to 1. They won't allow themselves to be led by other types. Black Orc unit may include an associated non-Black Orc character, but that character model may not act as a unit's leader. This is an exception to the character models as leaders. Black Orcs are spies over the goblinoids so much that they never panicked when other goblins rout. That's not bad for an extra, 1.5 points. That's pretty damn good. Black Orcs do not have to take a panic test when other goblinoid units rout. Unit of any goblinoid type may have a Black Orc leader. A unit led by a Black Orc calculates its own animosity as if it were a unit of Black Orcs. It's considered to be rank and file for animosity worked out against it. Black Orc wizards may substitute any battle magic spell from each level with an equivalent level necromantic, demonic, elemental, illusionist spell. So that's not too bad. But while we're here, we'll have a little squizzy at Savage Orcs. The subject animosity of all goblinoid units on the same side as themselves. They're culturally distinct. Savage Orcs do not usually wear armor. This was where saw the famous special rule from I think it was 4th and 5th edition for magical tattoos. So the magical protection from the tattoos gains them the equivalent of light armor. So, but they're still moving at 4 movement instead of 3.5 with a shield. So that's pretty damn good. It's lost if they take any armor. Savage Orcs fear chariots and engines of war because they're not used to them, I suppose. As well as the Snotling pump wagon and Caster Wolf war machines. Wow. A unit of Savage Orcs must take a rout test if it suffers 1 or more casualties from any engine of war during the shooting phase. Savage Orcs are subject to frenzy, and Savage Orc wizards may take battle spells from each level with an equivalent level necromantic, demonic, elemental, or illusionist spell, just like the other guys. So yeah, That's not too bad. That's pretty damn good when you're looking at it, especially Black Orcs not having to take route tests or panic tests or anything from other goblinoid units that may rout in hand-to-hand combat. So next we come to the little Snotlings, little Snots. Just like 3rd and 4th edition, we've got 40 by 40s with up to 9 figures on it. I've always loved the Snotling figures, especially the one flipping the bird or taking poop. I really like those figures, and they're 25 points a base, so pretty cool. And then Trolls. Who doesn't love a troll? I know they suffer from stupidity, but yeah, who does not love a troll? Honestly. Then it comes to the psychology part. Alignment. Orc and Goblin armies are evil. Psychology tells us that units of Orcs and Goblins are subject to animosity against other Goblinoid units, withholding the special rules for like Black Orcs and that. Goblins hate dwarves and gnomes and fear elves of units of more than half their own numeric strength. So it wasn't 4th edition that came in. I thought that came in a 4th edition, but it didn't. That's the problem with being an Oldhammer for 3rd edition. Some things just get mixed up in your head. So that's a bit of a problem. Now, army selection, rank and file. Minimum half of your army has to be rank and file. Maximum can be whole army, less 1. Character models is 1 hero minimum. So that's 1 model. So 1/3 of your army's points value is the maximum for heroes. Wizards is 5 models. Allies is 1/3 of your army. Mercenaries is 1/3, and monstrous hosts is 1/4. So the general army has to be led by a general, just like everybody else, who will be the character model with the highest leadership. Army standard, everybody else can take an army standard. That's army standards cost an extra 50 points. That's pretty much stock standard for everybody. Character models may be either orcs, half-orcs, goblins, black orcs, or savage orcs. The player is allowed a free choice of which to select, so an army could, for example, contain only orc characters, only half-orcs or more. A mixture. You could more commonly have a mixture. Riding in chariots, character models may ride in chariots included as part of the army's rank and file points allowance. That's pretty cool. This does not affect either the points value of the chariot or the character. Chariots carrying characters can be treated as separate models, separate units of 1 model. Now, points given for characters are for basic unarmored model with hand weapon. Characters should be provided with armament as depicted on the model and selected from the following list. So, yeah, you've got your additional hand weapon, 2-handed weapons at 2 points. Pretty much stock standard for everybody. Giant spiders, 45 points, goblins only, and wyverns, not wyvern or waven, never quite sure, but 180 points. Goblins can't ride them. Riding animals, boars, goblins only. Giant wolf mounts and war boars are not for goblins. So only orcs will ride a war boar, where a goblin will ride a boar or a giant wolf. So next on is page 90. So when we get to page 92 of the Armies book, we're looking at heroes. So we can take up to 6 heroes for level 5, and 5 level 10 heroes, 4 level 15s, 3 level 20s, 2 level 25 heroes. Points costs are listed out there. Half orcs are 150. They're more expensive than orcs and savage orcs, which is surprising. And black orcs are 217 weighing in. So they're pretty much your orc elites. So yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Very good troops, but like other armies as well, level 5, 10 and 15 heroes have to be assigned to specific units as leaders unless designated as an army standard bearer. They're referred to as champions. They can be part of the unit, cannot leave it. See, that's what I do like about 3rd edition. It gives you the page number to consult in the rule book, which is page 93. Champions are normally out of the same race as their unit. Black Orcs may lead any goblinoid unit. I won't be doing that probably. I'll be keeping my Black Orcs together as benefits their elitiness. And level 20 and 25s may be assigned to a specific unit as champions if the player wishes, or they can be left as independent characters, free to associate with any unit in the normal way. Wizards is next. Now we can only take up to 5 wizards or shamans. Not really spoiled for choice here. You can have a maximum of 3 level 5s, 2 level 10s, or 1 level 15, 1 20, or 1 level 25. I probably wouldn't use a level 25 unless it was for the 3,000 point battle, 3,500 points. But is it just, Magic can dominate the game and ruin it if you're not careful. Generating spells like level 5, you can take 3 level 1s. Level 25, he's got 6 level 1s, 2 level 3s, 3 level 3s, and 3 level 4s. And they're all generated randomly on the Battle Magic chart. The Goblin Wizard can take an Illusionist, an Elemental, 1 Necromantic, and up to 2 Demonic spells. So each of the spells available in the set of Battle Magic spells are the same level, so that's not a bad selection. Orc, half-orc, and savage orc wizards can generate 1 elemental, necromantic, illusionist, or demonic spell. So the goblins can get an extra demonic spell, and in place of 2 of their Battle Magic spells, if you're taking it from that. But the magic items are stock standard for most other armies. You don't have to have magic items like you do on the Undead army. What we saw there, I think it was if they were level 10 or higher, they had to have a magic item. Not so with orcs, the same as most armies. So they can have 1 attribute for every 5 levels. So if you're level 5, you can have 1 attribute. Level 15, you can have 3. Only 1 character can be equipped with magic armor for orcs, and the standard bearer, the army standard, can have 1 magic item as well. We now get on to the rank and file on page 93, and for these guys we're looking at Snorters first. These are your +1 shock elite warboars, and pretty cool. They are topping in at 27 points. You can only have 10 of them. You can have 0 to 10. They can upgrade to spears, and they can have a magic standard. They come stock standard with hand weapons, light armor, and shield. The addition of that spear would be quite beneficial, give them a bit better initiative, bring them up to a boar, because otherwise the boars would be hidden before they would. The big guns are next. These are your +1 shock elite orcs. These guys, you can have up to 30. They're usually units of 10 to 20. 9.5 points each. They come with a hand weapon, light armor, and a shield. They can be given an additional hand weapon in place of the shield. They don't use it against missile attacks. Be strapped to their back until they're actually fighting. They wouldn't be able to benefit from it. We're then looking at 1 magic standard. I know it's got it written there twice, but I've only ever played it that they can only have 1, so you couldn't have 2 units of, say, 15 with a magic standard each. They can also have a double-handed weapon. The grunters are next. These are your stock standard Orc Boar Riders, War Boar Riders, 19 points each. Spears, bows, shields, light armor, costing double for musicians and standard bearers as usual. Then we come to the first part of the actual compulsory troops. Now here we're looking at some rather, these are just the stock standard boys. Now there's 20 of them. You can have up to 100. They're usually in units of 10 to 30. 8.5 points a model. The initiative is a bit low at 2, but they can be upgraded. They come stock standard with a hand weapon, light armor, and a shield. They can be upgraded with halberds and spears or an additional hand weapon. 1 unit may be given double-handed weapons and a magic standard. Uh, these are your stock standard guys, and you're gonna have 20 of those. That's why in the 1,000-point armies I wanted to take the compulsory troops, so that way they were all there, done, ready to rock and roll. For when I expanded the armies out to like 3,000 and 2,000 points. Next is your Orc battle chariots, 62 points each. Pulled by giant wolves, surprisingly. Pretty sure it was 4th and 5th edition when they were actually pulled by warballs, but in 3rd edition they were pulled by giant wolves. Can have side wheels for an extra 20 points. You can have up to 6 of these guys, and you can optionally give them a shield and a short bow. They've also got they come with hand weapons and light armor. Next part of the compulsory troops is our arrow boys. You have to have 20 of those. They're usually in units of 10 to 30, 7.5 points each. They come with a bow and a hand weapon, no armor. They can take shields and light armor if you'd like. And one unit can be substitute their bows for crossbows. Now I'm going to do that. I've got 3 Orc crossbowmen so far. Got a few to go. So I am keeping an eye out for those online as well. So once they're all done, then yeah, even so much the better. But yeah, love Orc arrow boys. Don't see them 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th edition armies. Well, I never did against my mates. But in 3rd edition, you have to take 20 of them. So that forces you to make the army orky, I suppose. Next, you've got Gobbo Wolf Boys. You can have up to 50 of these. These are your basic wolf riders mounted on a wolf, surprisingly. Units between 5 and 20, 9 points a model. That's not bad. That's not too shabby. They're jetting around the battlefield at 9 movement, depending on armor, if you take the light armor and the shields. But they can also be given like short bows and spears as well, just to up that initiative a little bit. More compulsory gobbos. 20 stickers. You have to have at least 20. They can be in units of 20 to 50. And you can take up to 200. They come with short bow and hand weapon, no armor, but you can outfit them with shields and light armor if you like. Shields are only half a point, not too bad, because the cost of them equipment is half price. So next we have the Goblin Battle Chariot. Side wheels on these fellas as well as 20 points. They're 46 points basic, stock standard. Hand weapon, light armor for the crew, 2 crew, 2 giant wolves pulling them as well. Same as the Orc Chariot. They can also have bows and shields as well. Now, the last compulsory troop type is the Gobbos themselves. So you have to take at least 20. They come in units of 20 to 100, and you can take up to 200. Now, 100 unit strong unit of Gobbos would look absolutely fantastic, but do not fail a break test or a fear test or something like that, because yeah, that could absolutely well and truly ruin your day. So that's something to look out for. They got their 3 points each. They come with hand weapon and a javelin, surprisingly. So I've got a lot of plastic 4th edition goblins that I've stumbled across while I'm trying to find goblins for the siege. So they look like spears, but they're actually javelins, unless I outfit them with spears during battles and stuff. So spears are not a bad choice for goblins, because it does give them the option to up that initiative a little bit, especially against other troops and mounted troops as well. So always a plus, and only half a point, so you can't go wrong with that. Shields and light armor. Shields again, half a point. Light armor 1. Any unit may have double-handed weapons or halberds, surprisingly. I don't think I've ever seen a halberd armored gobbo unit, but that would be cool. Next, we have some really awesome looking goblin archers with some metal miniatures and the Warhammer plastic Warhammer Regiments box set. Really well painted. They look Very, very, very nice. Absolutely love it. That's what I love about this edition as well. When you get those pictures and things, like that's a good, great inspiration for a banner. Actually, really, really good. Now, then we come to the Fanatics. What army? What Orc and Goblin army doesn't have at least one Fanatic? Now these guys 30 points each. You can have up to 3 in every Goblin infantry unit. So stickers or gobbos, they can be in there. And yeah, absolutely awesome for a surprise, surprise when your mounted knights come charging your lowly gobbo stickers. Boom! Out come the Fanatics. And yeah, as it says, it's special rules for these guys. They're hidden. See Warhammer Fantasy Battle page 98. Might do that on one video. Go through the special troop types in the actual rulebook, just as a sit down and have a squizzy. But page 95, and we're looking at these are our Savage Boys. That's where they make their appearance. You can have up to 30 Savage Boys. They're armed with a hand weapon. You can give them a shield. I'd have to look in much closer to see. I'm pretty sure it's just armor that affects them and makes it that they lose their special attribute with the tattoos. But they can have an additional hand weapon or a double-handed weapon, one unit, and a magic standard as well, which is always handy. Magic standards are quite good. Models per unit 30, so you can just have a block. Then we've got our Scabbies. Now the Scabbies is your half-orc. Known as Scabbies, half-orcs are despised even by goblinoids as being not proper goblins or orcs. They're half in between. Half-orcs are crossbreeds between goblins and other races, usually combining the worst qualities of both. So pretty savage, 5 points each, 10 to 20 in a unit. Any unit may be given shields. They just come with a hand weapon. They can be also given light armor. And one unit may be given an additional hand weapon or double-handed weapons, spears or bows. Spears or bows would be okay at tier 3. Spears would be alright for them. They get that initiative bonus. Under them, we have Savage Arrows, and these are your Savage Arrow boys. You can have up to 20, and we're looking at 10 to 20 per unit, 7.5 points. Bow and a hand weapon. Any unit may be given shields, and one unit may be given an additional hand weapon, sort of a nasty surprise because they are subject to frenzy, remember, as well. So that could be a nasty surprise for your opponent. He comes charging along, sees some Savage Arab boys, thinks, oh, yeah, I'm going to take these guys pretty easily, and then out come the additional hand weapon, getting put the bows away to grab the extra sword and get in to do the dirty work. So that could be a really nasty surprise for them. So that'd be quite funny, actually. Now, next to them, we've got the smallest of the goblinoids, the Snotlings. Snotling bases, by themselves, they're not that spectacular, but in numbers, they could actually pack a punch. Now, you can have models per unit is 5 to 20 bases. I think it said earlier on that it was like 9 to a base or something like that, so that'd be hordes of little buggers. 25 points per base. Just got hand weapons, no armor, and they can have a spore weapon. Now I'd have to go to the rulebook to find out what that is. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but nasty. But only 4 leadership and 4 intelligence and 4 cool and 4 willpower. 1 toughness, 3 initiative, so they're quicker than the gobbos, but yeah, they've still only got weapon skill 2, so they'd be finding it hard to beat each other up, even at the best of times. But Black Orcs themselves are next. Now, these guys come in units of 5 to 10. You can take up to 40 of these guys, so you could have 4 units of 10. They're 9 points a model. These guys are good for your lurking troops on the fringes of main battles where they can be flanking people and yeah, manoeuvring around for that. They come with a hand weapon, light armor. Um, any unit can have double-handed weapons. They can have shields and an additional hand weapon. And one unit can have halberds, and one unit can have a magic standard. So that would be quite nasty. Now, 0 to 20 trolls in the 3rd edition Goblinoid armies. Models per unit 1 to 10. 65 points each. Hand weapon, no armor, because they've got their regenerate and everything, unless it's a flaming weapon or something like that, or fire. Do suffer from stupidity, but trolls are pretty cool. I do like the old stone troll models; they're quite awesome. Now we come to the war machines. We've got the Snotling pump wagon first. You can have up to 3 of these fellas. They're topping out at 40 points each. Pretty much count as a chariot. Anyone can be upgraded to a heavy pump wagon. And they've got hand weapons on them. I've always loved the models, like just hanging off them. And I've got to get a Snotling pump wagon for my army. I really do. I do love it. So we're trying to source one of those. I'm not sure how much that's going to cost, but yeah, climbing that mountain. Now we've got spear chuckers next, 0 to 8. Now these guys got 48-inch range, strength 5, -2 save modifier, and they do 1d4 wounds per hit. So they can be quite nasty, especially against ogres or bigger monsters, like bigger troops, even chaos beastmen. You can roll a couple of 2s or 3s, and you'll be killing troops left, right, and centre. Now the points difference for them, it's 46.5 points if your crew is orcs, or it is 37.5 points if your crew is goblins. Now that makes a bit of a difference. Goblin crew can't look after themselves as well as what an orc crew can, but that's nearly 10 points cheaper, and you're getting the same ballistic skill and everything like that. So that's not a bad trade-off, I think. I'd definitely be getting goblins to man that. You can get 0 to 2 lead belcher organ guns. I actually have one of these models. I quite love it. It's Goblin crew for that one. It's 36-inch range. It is strength 5 up to 12 inches, and a -3 save modifier because it's a gunpowder weapon. And it does 1d3 wounds per hit. 102.5 points. Crews can have light armor as well. They come with a hand weapon, no armor or anything. It's a machinery of destruction, and it's got 4 barrels. So that's in the Warhammer Fantasy rulebook on page 112. Next to them, what I got unboxed the other day, which is a Skull Crusher Stone Thrower. Now this guy is minimum range of 14 inches and maximum range of 64. 1-inch template, strength 6, -3 save modifier, d4 plus 1 wounds per hit. Orc crew for this guy, you have 1 to 2 per battery, so to speak. 62 points, not a bad trade-off in my book. Come with hand weapons, no armour, but no one everywhere else is a trebuchet. They have difficulty pronouncing weird long words like that, so they just refer to it as a skull crusher, and it counts as a machinery of destruction. So extra special rules on page 112. Now, I've always wanted one of these, and it's a man mangler. I've got it like just a normal stone thrower for goblins. I think that came into for my orcs and goblins. I think it's orcs that are manning that, but because it's 3 crews, so I think that was an addition in White Dwarf actually when that came out. So on this one, we're looking at at 93 points, 18 to 96. 18 is the minimum range, 96 is the maximum range. 1.5-inch template, strength 8, so 2 more strength than the Skull Crusher. -5 save modifier, just because of the size of the bloody rocks they're using, I suppose. -3 for the Skull Crusher, and 2d4 plus 1 wounds, so pretty damaging, up to, what would that be, 9 wounds. That's pretty devastating, actually, if you can log that on something important. So, but even there it says among orcs, catapults, this type are known as manglers. Orcs are very impressed by such weapons used against them and soon learn how to make their own, and it also counts as a machinery of destruction. Now, page 97 lists the skirmishers. Following units may operate as skirmishers if the player wishes. Skirmishing units must be noted down before the battle. The maximum size for a skirmishing unit is 15 for foot troops and 10 for mounted. See page 100 for rules on skirmishers, like how they're affected by terrain and things like that. But Arrow Boys, you can have up to 2 skirmishing units. Gobbos can have up to 2. Stickers can have up to 2, and Gobbo Wolf Boys can have 1 if they're armed with bows. Now, baggage, like everybody else, if you've got a baggage train on your army, and I would like to model baggage trains for all my armies, that they're, you get 5 followers that are pretty much just armed with hand weapons, basically, or improvised weapons. For every 1,000 points worth of rank and file troops in the army, baggage followers always include at least 1 Orc and 1 Goblin, plus any other models of Goblinoid are represented in the army. Baggage followers are unarmoured and use improvised weapons. Now, allies, we're looking at Chaos allies, Skaven and Mir. So, not a bad choice, actually. Skaven basically for numbers, for me, because they're dead hard, and trying to think if I've got a couple of models around. But yeah, they're quite pricey, so they wouldn't be too hard to get the points up per miniature, so to speak. Now, mercenaries, you can spend up to a third of your army's total points on mercenaries. Mercenaries must be assembled using the mercenary section, detailed on page 150 to 162 of the rulebook, of the army's book, sorry. The player may choose mercenaries from the following lists. Now you can have giants, awesome, half-orcs, wow, mercenaries just filled with half-orcs, that'd be cool, hobgoblins, ogres, and other orcs. Now, hosts, goblinoid shamans may bind a monstrous host like everybody else, 240 of the Warhammer rulebook. I think it's in the magic section, actually. The player may spend up to 1/4 of the army's total points on hosts. You can have 0 to 40 boars, 0 to 30 giant bats, 0 to 8 giant spiders, and 0 to 40 giant wolves, and 0 to 1 swarms. Now the pages on after that, so that's the Orc army list, and we've got Kev Adams' 3,000 point Orc army that is assembled, and that is pretty fantastic, but I don't know if I can attach any more files. I'll give it a try to see if we can, but yeah, just these computers on that, that's absolutely awesome. That's another thing I like about this rulebook, is when they brought their armies in that the guys played with back in the day, and yeah, did that pose in front of them. Might recreate that one day, I think. Maybe leaning back with the arms folded, like the Britannian bloke. So, yeah, we'll give that a go. But that's pretty much the Orc and Army list. And I just want to thank everyone if you've stayed this long. It's been a bit of a chore. I've had to learn how to record directly to DaVinci, so because I couldn't bring over the other sound files and they just died. But as we live, we learn. Still learning, and I'll get there one day, hopefully. But yeah, if you're still sticking around, thanks very much for joining me on this nostalgic look at the Orcs and Goblins army list, what we're working towards. I'll have most of the the troops sorted out for the siege battle. So then that way I can collect just a little bit more, and I'll have enough for 1,000 points for a field battle with the Orcs and Goblins. It'd be nice against the Empire. It'd be actually a really actually be a fun battle. So, but just yeah, want everyone to keep climbing that mountain. Please like and subscribe if you like the content, and always remember, stay cool, stay Oldhammer.